Have you ever found yourself in a life or death situation? One that could have been completely avoided with a single, simple choice made beforehand? Every time you get into a car, whether you're driving or riding, wearing a seatbelt should be the first thing you do. It only takes a few seconds, but it can be the difference between life and death in any accident. Seatbelts are made to keep you safe by preventing serious injuries if a crash happens. A lot of people forget or don't think it's necessary, especially when you're just going for a short trip up the street or going to a friend's house that's nearby. When you're sitting in the front seat or sitting in the back seat, an accident can happen anytime, anywhere. That's why it's so important to make putting your seatbelt a habit. No matter where you're sitting or how far you're going, it's one small action that could literally save your life. But let's be honest, putting on a seatbelt may just take a few seconds. People think that it's not necessary and that they'll be fine. They never think it could happen to them. But those few seconds could save your life. According to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, the NHTSA, 51% of passenger vehicle occupants are killed in crashes. 51% in 2021 were not wearing their seatbelts. That's over half of the people who died. Lives that might have been saved by simply buckling up. In Alabama, the state's crash data showed that people who weren't wearing seatbelts were 40 times more likely to die in a crash than those who were. One simple decision could be the difference between walking away or never walking again. Seatbelts don't just reduce the risk of injuries, they dramatically lower the chance of being seriously hurt or dying. The NHTSA reports that seatbelts reduce the risk of fatal injuries by 45% and the risk of moderate to critical injury by 50%. For light truck occupants, those jump to 60 to 65%. Even in crashes where airbags are deployed, seatbelts are still essential. The most fatal crashes happen within 25 miles of home, and you could be going as low as 40 miles per hour, which proves that everyday driving still carries serious risk. Now, I'm not just speaking about this out of factual content. I'm going to give it a personal experience that I went through myself. On July 11th, 2025, not even a week ago, I experienced firsthand how crucial wearing a seatbelt truly is. My brother and I were involved in a serious accident when his vehicle collided with an oncoming van. The impact caused the van to flip 4 times, crashing through someone's yard and scattering debris everywhere. Both vehicles were completely totaled, and it was a scary, terrifying experience to go through. Inside the van were a group of teenage college students returning home from Bible camp. And because every single one of them were wearing a seatbelt, they walked away practically unharmed. One girl was rushed to the emergency room because she had a cut on her head, but everybody else was perfectly fine. The EMS workers and the police on that scene said that if they hadn't have been buckled up, the outcome would have been far worse. My brother and I were terrified that we were going to run to this vehicle and find dead bodies because of how bad they crashed. This was scary, and luckily for my brother, he was wearing his seatbelt. His injuries were minor, and he barely hit the steering wheel when he crashed. I decided that day to not wear my seatbelt. It is the first time that I've ever gotten into a vehicle and did not buckle up. And that day that I chose not to wear my seatbelt is the day that we got into an accident. When I came out of that car, I was scared. I was mad at myself because something could have happened to me. All I got was a hurt leg and a cut on the back of it because I wasn't restrained. But it could have been a lot worse. There are life-saving choices in this world, and buckling up is one of them. This wasn't just something I read about or heard in statistics, I lived it. And I'll never forget how one small action made all the difference. So I'm urging you, I'm begging you, make a seatbelt a non-negotiable habit. Wherever you are going, whenever you are driving or riding in front seat or back seat during the day, during the night, buckle up. It's quick, it's easy, and it's backed by real proof and real facts that it saves lives. Don't gamble with your safety or assume nothing will happen because that one small action might be the reason you get to go home to the people you love.